sure. Whatever.
No, the Costa Rica trip, that was the best. That was probably the best vacation I ever took in my life.
Yeah, really? No, that was a good one.
One of the best that I ever took in my life. But I haven't been to Costa Rica since then. How many years ago was that?
15, 16. When it was before you were married? How long have you been married?
Just before I was married. I've been married 15 years. So call it 16 or 17 years ago.
Probably 17 years.
And how bad did we crack?
17.
How bad did we crack on Jenkins? Dude, we traveled the whole coast of Costa Rica and cracked on Jenkins the whole time.
Yeah, it was pretty good. We drove and drove. We'd get up in the morning and we'd drive somewhere to a surf spot. Could be 3-4 hours away, and we'd get there. Remember that Witch's Rock? Witch's Rock. Remember that one?
Yeah.
But dude, we went to a national park there in Costa Rica, and then we went down the riverbed that was dried up with a car, bottoming out the oil pan. Dude, I'm surprised we made it in and out of there with Dio driving.
Dude, you know how many times I thought we were going to be stuck in the wilderness during that trip?
No shit.
Like a dozen times. And this little, we had what was that little 4-wheel drive we had? Was that
like a RAV4 or something?
Like a tracker. Wasn't it a tracker?
Could have been a tracker.
Something. I was like, could not believe that this little car was doing what it was doing.
But we got back there, and then you get there and we're in the bushes, and you can hear the waves, like, it's right around here somewhere. So we walked through the woods out there, and dude, there was this huge rock called Witch's Rock. And then it was just the nicest, just right out of a friggin' surfing magazine. Like, these perfect waves were coming in.
And there was like 5 dudes out.
Right. No, it was in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. But that's Witch's Rock that's in all the good surf movies.
Well, yeah, now everybody knows Witch's Rock. But like when we went there in the 80s, it was almost like the white elephant thing. Like, oh my God, do you know where Witch's Rock is? Like, can you get there?
Right.
Well, you can take a boat. No, or you can take a 4-wheel drive, but you got to make it there. Anyway, this is the Real Guy Podcast, Lunker Dog's Real Guy Show, and I got the Big Bursa Man Bursa in here tonight with me. Also, executive producer Lamont Jones. So we're getting ready to bang out an episode, so thanks for joining in tonight. And Mr. Bursa, thanks for coming in. We're always looking for real guys on the show. And Bursa was around when the whole social network thing started, so it's really good to have him
A lot of years now.
Right here with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This is a pretty neat idea. You're starting the new podcast here. How many you got going so far?
How many total podcasts?
Yeah.
I think this will be our 9th podcast.
Okay, all right.
And we've been putting them out every week for 9 weeks.
Okay.
And the audience has been growing very steadily, very surely. And
I was catching up with them. I mean, there's some pretty good stuff. I mean,
which ones did you listen to?
The one with the chef.
You got the Chef Joe one? All right.
Yeah, I listened to one about the sawfish or something with Busaka.
Busaka, all right.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if Busaka was around back when Freshwater Rob and Wide White Matt was around?
Yeah, that would have been something.
That would have been like really fun. You know, people think that like we made fun of Freshwater Rob in the old days.
Well.
Or like we were picking on him.
Well, that's part of his. Well, he was a freshwater guy, right? I mean, he came out of the canals of Weston. You know, like he was out there fishing.
Sunrise Plantation.
Sunrise. Okay. I knew it was out there somewhere, but yeah, no, he never caught any saltwater fish, right? And then
right.
His
sister talked me into start taking him out fishing with us and stuff. And being a freshwater guy, I mean, it was natural to like, I don't say pick on him, but he wasn't a saltwater guy.
Right. Now
he was also cocky. He didn't come in with a lot of humility. He thought he knew everything.
Right.
Well, he was a fishing expert.
Right. So that's what caused it. Wasn't like we just singled him out and attacked him. He had a lot of it coming. He asked for a lot of it.
True, that's true.
No, he did. And then he was like, he would like totally like overanalyze gear.
Well, I think that's a problem a lot of guys have.
You think that's common?
Right. Definitely.
Dude, Ryan is bringing, I think, 12 combos to Mexico.
12 combos, nice. Yeah. I had a trip 3 nights ago, And these Asian dudes from New York came down. And they were totally Americanized. It's not like they had like an Asian accent and everything. But they brought 2 combos each. There was 4 of them. And me and Frazier did 2 boats and took them out. So the guy's sporting the piss out of one of these really nice Van Stalls. And he's throwing plug.
So you got guys that bring their own gear?
Some dudes do.
Really?
Like if Freshwater Rob would have booked way back when, he'd have brought his own combo.
Right.
Big caster or something?
Right. It's like 1 out of 3 people. They just can't help themselves. They got to bring their stuff.
They got their stuff, okay.
So this guy's got the Van Stall. He's got a rod just as expensive as the Van Stall. It's probably $1,500 for the setup.
Okay.
And he's throwing plug, which I commend the dudes because like they said they wanted to catch a giant tarpon on artificial, and he did.
Wow.
He did get one on
He
plug?
did get
Nice.
one on plug. That's the one on video. We were live down there in downtown Miami, and he just kept pulling on him and pulling on him and pulling on him. But the first big run that the tarpon did totally destroyed the Van Stall. And if you watch the live video, from that point on, from like after the first run, the thing sounds like a car with bad bearings or something. It just it's squeaking and everything.
Whoa.
All right, $900 for that Van Stall.
And that was the first big fish he caught on it?
This is the first big fish he's ever caught on. That's nothing new. You know how many guys that come down with that like $800 Stella, and then it breaks like the first time they get a 100-pound plus tarpon? Happened to Jim Hayes.
Wow.
It's true. True story.
Like how much are your rigs cost?
My rigs
Yeah.
are priceless.
Wow. Were there old rigs? The ones from the Salt Shaker ones? Is that the ones you're using?
Right? Those are ones. Those are priceless. You can't
Well,
buy that anymore, and I'm not going to sell it to you. The Lunker Dog rods that I use right now
Right.
are pretty much priceless because they're mine, and I'm not going to sell them to you.
Well, that's true.
And then the dude from Penn sent me a whole bunch of reels, so I've been using pens.
So the pen reels are good?
They've been really good.
Okay.
I was like kind of like, I don't know, you know me, I'm like all anti-new anything because I think all the new stuff sucks.
Right.
But the pen stuff that I got, those sport fishers,
Okay.
see all the boxes up there?
Oh, yeah.
They've been phenomenal. I've been catching just 100-pounder after another. Matter of fact, last night was the 6th night in a row
Right.
with 100-pound fish or better.
Well, the guys that are listening are going to want a little better description of the reel than that. So which one is it and which model?
Oh, come on, really?
Yeah, well, which one's been producing out there?
And a third of the people are gear freaks. Is it the same people that bring their combos that are the gear freaks?
Of
Or
course.
it's 2 different people?
Of course.
Can you be a gear freak and not bring your combo?
No.
All right.
Well, you can, but you'll just have anxiety the whole time.
All right. So,
Like, I've always been of the mindset, Bursa,
Right.
that invest the majority of your money, your good money, in your rod.
Okay.
Because that's going to last you a good amount of time if you don't, like, slam it in the door or, you know, in the truck bed or whatever. And then go modest, medium on the reels, because these tarpon, they're going to destroy any reel.
right.
So instead of buying an $800 reel, like, get a $150 reel.
So you're saying you can only catch so many lunkers on a certain reel?
On any
for-
reel,
Any
for
reel.
that matter.
Any reel.
Like, nobody's making tarpon reels, where it's a 20-pound class reel that's meant to catch 120-pound fish.
The Van Stool is the worst tarpon reel ever made. And I'll give you 2 examples, because these are the only 2 examples that I've had experiences with, which was the other night with the dudes from New York and the Van Stool that broke on the first
one.
tarpon. And then when I did the show with George Gotts.
His broke too?
Yeah,
There's
we
one.
were using all those fancy reels. I think Penn bought Van Stool or something, and we had all those fancy reels. And the drags would get tighter and tighter as you would fight the fish, and then you'd pop off the fish. And it happened over and over and over again. You can watch it on the TV show.
The drag tightens down on itself as it's pulling drag.
Something like that. It's definitely getting tighter as you're fighting the fish. At least it was then. But if you do pay $900 for a reel, all you got to do is send it back, and they'll fix it for free.
Wow.
For 3 months.
No, lifetime.
No, I mean, but it's going to take you. You'll be out with your reel all the time.
Right.
You have to have 2.
3-month turnaround time.
Yeah.
Right. You mean 2? You get a half dozen.
So these guys, let's just paint a picture here. These guys are trying to catch tarpon, and they're looking at their reel for stopping power.
Correct.
Like, let me throw 35 pounds of drag on this thing. I'm going tarpon fishing.
Correct. And talking about how much drag. Well, dude, what should I set my drag at? So I told him a lot.
Right.
I didn't think I was going to break his Van stool. Burrs, you might get me a brewski out of there?
Yeah, man, sure.
I get him fresh brewskis. Lamont wouldn't let me keep the leftovers from last week in there.
That's fine. Good idea.
I told Lamont, as long as they don't leave the cooler, like you can't leave them in the bed of your truck where they get warm and stuff.
Oh, look at that. Is that a Pirates World IPA? Dude, that thing's like 12.5% alcohol. Good on you. Oh, my bad. The light hit the label wrong. It's a Michelob Ultra.
Oh, geez.
So now everybody can...
Crack on the Ultra.
Yep, all the beer people are all triggered now. All the guys that care about what beers other dudes are drinking, like they're at Flanagan's or whatever, and they're eyeballing other people's beers, like, what's that guy drinking? And God forbid you're drinking a light beer or anything else, because then they're like, pussy, this and... Dude, worry about the own beer that you drink.
Well, you got those local breweries that brew those beers. I mean, those guys will get offended if you drink, you don't like one of their beers. You walk in there and you ask them, well, what's the closest to like a Bud Light? And they look at you funny.
Well,
And then they usually give you some fruity thing.
Well, how come none of those guys at the microbrewery places tell you about the next day?
Oh, well.
Because they taste good. Most of those microbreweries that I've had,
You like them?
I like especially the first one. I mean, they're tasty. But the next day, when I got to get up in the morning and I got things to do, and you smell like that, I mean, it's like not normal next. Right. Except when you get microbeer farts are not solid like that. They're soft and like real hard to make like a noise and brutal. The smell's brutal. I mean, it's not like drinking a Budweiser.
Right, no. I mean, I can't drink more than two of those things. And
Right.
you're full. You're physically full. You just feel like taking a nap. I
Those
mean,
microbrew guys and the IPA guys, they're drinking one.
they drink one? For
Judging a guy that's drinking 20. Like, you're drinking Bud Light, dude, that redneck's drank 20. You're still nursing one. Or they get those little shot glass ones.
Right, the tasters.
I like that. I like it when they bring out all the ones. What do they call that?
Sampler.
Yeah, but they could call it a quart or something. But,
A flight.
A flight. And they sport the piss out of their flight. They carry that flight around like it was like a newborn or something. They're walking around the damn bar with it. Check out my flight. They're sporting the piss out of
That
it.
does give you a headache the next day. Because it's no different than having like a shot of tequila, a shot of vodka, a shot of Drambuie, a shot of rum. Like, you're not supposed to mix like that.
Really?
Different kinds. Huh.
If you drink two different types of beers, say you were to drink, how many beers you drink, Bursa? When you, like...
When
you
I
know,
go
good
out
session?
drinking?
Yeah.
I mean,
Like partying.
if I'm partying, it's going to be over 12.
Over 12.
Right.
So if you had, what are you drinking now?
Right now, it's just a little vodka and...
No, what beer brand?
what beer? I usually like Corona Lights. I like Bud Lights.
If you did 6 Corona Lights
Yep.
and then 6 Bud Lights, you'd have more of a hangover the next day than if you just had all 6 the same.
You think so?
Or, yeah, all 12 the same.
I don't know. That stuff really doesn't affect me. It's the lack
Maybe
of
it has to be
sleep
like
that
10
bothers me.
each.
Maybe it could be 10 each. I mean, I can mix liquor and beer better than most.
Say you had 5 Bud Lights in your refrigerator and 1 Stella Artois.
Well,
Would you drink the Stella first or last?
last.
Like drink all 5
Last.
Bud Lights and then
I would
do-
drink it last.
I would drink
finish
last.
it with the Stella
Right.
Artois.
Yeah.
Top it off.
Right.
Okay.
Well,
How many brewskis are you drinking like now? Not partying, socially
Socially?
drinking, compared to when we were the Boat Ram Boys.
Huh.
well, that was a whole other ball game back then. That was.
Numbers.
I mean, I could drink 18 beers back then. Easy.
At the Shark Bite Bar.
At the Shark Bite Bar, the original Shark Bite Bar at the old house. Yeah, no, we had some good times. We jammed back there. Remember the jam sessions we had when I was demoing the house?
Dude,
Remember the jam sessions with that dude Dave?
we had some of the best jam sessions. All original style. All original Barnacle music.
All of it.
Hola, Senor Bonefish, where you go?
Dude, we needed music back then when we first started. When we invented internet fishing shows, basically, we needed a soundtrack.
Right.
And,
Do you remember the first music that we used for our fishing videos?
do I remember the first music?
We weren't allowed to use it, but we used it.
I don't know, there's a couple of them there in the beginning.
It was,
Craig Mack.
but kind of like in the same line as your Corona Lights, Los Lobos Boys or something.
Oh, burn out Heaven. That was the song Heaven or something.
Right?
Right?
And then Lamar's like, oh, we can't use that. They're going to throw us off.
How far is heaven?
But
Yeah,
Right.
that one. Yeah.
But I think at the beginning, when we were first doing the videos,
Another one?
before Google bought YouTube, I don't think it was a big deal. Then Google bought YouTube, and then all of a sudden Lamont freaked out on the music.
Well, Lamont has always been a stickler about being original. Like, he never wants to copyright infringe, or he'll make his own tunes, he put his own mixes together. I think that's been important.
Well, I think Lamont's scared of getting thrown off social media platforms.
Sure. I mean, it's not
Like some people thrive on getting thrown off social media platforms. I think Lamont's like, I'm a little nervous about it.
Well,
I've never been in Facebook jail, but I don't really post. But I don't post on my government name account. But I have the pages and then the groups, and we get pretty crazy in there. And I've never gotten Facebook jailed in there, but I know a bunch of people that are Facebook jailed like 3-4 times a year.
How does Norm get Facebook jailed like every month?
He's getting in like political fights where it gets really nasty. The name calling.
Politics.
Politics.
Well, and Facebook's a stickler. They're got a side they're on.
They all got a side they're on.
But I think it goes past, once you get past the line of respectability and the name calling, like I think then they get you. So if you have to use the C word, I think you're gone. If you use MF something,
Right.
whatever that something is, if you precede it with MF, they're going to toss you.
Then you get thrown right off the platform.
I think the first time you get like a 24-hour cooldown, the second time like a 72-hour cooldown, the third time a week cooldown, and then the fourth time like a month.
Wow.
And Norm's had the month.
Really?
Oh, Norm's got I think he's had back-to-back months.
Yeah.
Like he's always pissing off the Facebook
Somebody.
people. No, it's the Facebook people that he pisses off consistently.
It's kind of like the old forums. Remember those old forum days?
Oh, do I remember the old forum days?
The forum days were they were phenomenal. That was the beginning of the infancy of all that online fishing shows, and we were out there making our presence out there, and I would get on there, and that's where the Reds and the Trouts thing came from. What was that?
Yeah, we always
Ain't
talk
just nothing
about
but
that.
Trouts and Reds.
Do we never abused more people at one time than the Florida Sportsman Fishing Forum?
Oh, I just love digging at those people.
Between you, the Boat Ramp Boys, Website Mike, just totally abusing the whole Florida Sportsman thing. It's like,
It was too easy. It was too easy.
it was easy. It was easy. But, like, we were making those Florida Sportsman Forum reports,
Yeah.
and it really wasn't fair.
Well, and they wanted to micromanage, and like that'll drive you crazy. Like, oh, we want like real guys posting, but we don't want guides in there posting because then they're promoting, and they were also at the infancy too. They started at the beginning and just made every mistake you could possibly make. We don't allow video links on our posts.
We don't want video.
Right.
And then Website Mike would go in and hack their system so we could put video. Yeah, we could play video on the Florida Sportsman Forum, and nobody else could.
Why did he do that?
Yeah, dude, we abused them the whole time we were on there. It never stopped.
Isn't that where you met Website Mike?
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the,
I met a
Florida
lot.
Sportsman?
I met a lot of real guys,
On
a
the
lot of
forums.
cool people on the
Yeah.
forums. Website Mike was like 17.
right. No, he was young. I
He was
remember.
like a sophomore in college.
At
What, he's 17, 18, right? Something.
He looked like he was 17.
He still looks like he's 17.
Yeah, no, he's.
I don't know how a bald guy with no hair can look like he's 17, but Website Mike's still doing it.
You can do it when you got a 600-pound swordfish in front of you. That dude catches some swordfish.
Dude, he's one of the...
He's a top guy around
He's
town,
one
or
of the
what?
best sword fishermen that I've ever been associated with in my life. And considering my dad and a few other dudes were some of the guys that pioneered this stuff back in the 70s, that's saying something. But he goes out there, he gets his big lunker swordfish, he puts it in everybody's face like a gentleman,
Yeah, totally.
consistently like a gentleman,
Right.
and just does not stop. He's relentless about it, like a real guy.
No, it's pretty impressive what he's done out there. And then he gets all those snappers and stuff.
He's a meat fisherman.
Is that what he is? Does he sell all that? Or what does he do with it?
No,
Puts
he
in his
bags
freezer,
it
gives it
up,
away?
gives it to people. He'll call me. He'll
But
call.
swordfish, like how many pounds of meat? If it's 600 pounds swordfish, how many pounds can you eat?
Well, I don't think he's like.
400?
I don't think he's blowing down 100 pounds of fish himself, but I
We're
mean,
just giving them out.
and he's got a
Nice
big
party
Jewish
gift, you know.
family.
Right, yeah, no, it's,
You know, so they get a
Everybody
fish
lines
and
up.
people, right?
Right.
You know how we kill friggin' 60 pounds of dolphin. How fast do we
right.
get rid of that?
Oh, it goes.
It goes, right?
Yeah.
Same thing. Same thing. What?
Can you read it?
Oh, I can't think. I thought it was dark.
What do you got there?
I can't see the thing was saying. There's about to be a girl throwing lunkers in your face at the Bahia Honda Bridge. Oh, Darcizzle.
Darcizzle's going to put lunkers in people's faces at the Bahia Honda Bridge. What's that on Instagram?
Facebook.
Facebook? Darcizzle, social media phenom, just totally creeping up on my stuff. What else is new? I have a callus from people creeping up on my original style. How do you get it's a mental callus.
Right. Well, she's run out of options over there.
You know, it's funny you bring up Darcizzle, because between the G-strings and the idiocy that goes with the people that follow that and like that and are into that,
Right.
the reason that we really don't mess with Darcizzle anymore is because she tried to do something with O'Gorman.
What do you mean, against you?
No, not against me. They tried to... Darcizzle and O'Gorman tried to do a trip together. And then Darcizzle abused O'Gorman.
What?
Yeah.
That's,
So then we turned around and we're like, well, we're not doing Darcizzle anymore because she abused O'Gorman. In the meantime, at all the social media, the two biggest friggin' retards in the whole social media that I can friggin' think of is O'Gorman and Darcizzle.
Right, right.
Is that friggin' a coincidence?
wow.
Or is that destiny?
They found each other there. That's for
Well,
sure.
it
Right.
just happened to be
Right.
where it's them two.
No, I seen that chick at one of those LunkerCons.
She used to come
used
to
to come
all
around.
our social media events.
Right. Taking
And
notes.
then she got the following. And then all of a sudden that meant something.
I mean, when you get tits and ass, you know you're going to get a certain amount of followers in this business.
Well, I'm not going to comment on the tits and ass, but there's only
That's
50.
what-
There's only 50% of that in the equation, because I'm not saying it, but there's only 50% in the equation.
What, like she's got a butterface, you mean?
No, she's nothing.
Oh yeah, nothing there. Yeah,
Nothing
yeah,
there.
yeah. No, her assets are
50% of what you were talking about.
right, right. Okay, no, that's true. No, she's certainly in that department, but I don't know. She was she had a little. I think one of her eyes was bigger than the other one. Did you see that when she was there? Like one of her eyeballs was a different size. So she had that working against her too.
I never noticed.
Dude, you should look. Check out the pictures.
You're trying to tell me Darcizzle's got a dick eye?
Yeah. I don't know.
I've never
I
noticed.
just noticed it when that time I saw her. I don't know. I'm sure if you start looking out there, you'll see it.
I got a picture with Darcizzle and Mackenzie together,
What?
and I noticed Mackenzie's dick eye.
Right.
I didn't notice Darcizzle's.
It's there. It's not as prominent, but it's there. Take a look. That's why she's always wearing the sunglasses. I'm telling you. I heard it too from somebody else.
All right, dude, you quit picking on Darcizzle.
Okay. I mean, fine.
You want to pick on somebody? Pick on one of the old boat ramp boys or something. We need to start with Matt or something.
Why right, Matt? He's got 2 kids now. That guy. He's like, He does a lot of fishing too on his container or something.
I think old Wide Right Matt's doing pretty good actually for himself.
He is. He's come a long ways.
I don't talk to him that much and stuff anymore, but I pay attention to him, and he looks like he's happy. He looks like he's doing
catching
the right
some fish.
things.
He's got a couple little girls, and they're he's doing it right. He's a good kid.
I think I might reach out to old Wide Right Matt.
Okay, let's see him around. Kid goes to our school.
I kind of didn't reach out to him for a while or whatever. Now he's
proving himself.
It just seems like he's rolling.
He is.
Nicely.
He's rolling well now. He should check in on him. No, he'd like that.
So why were you so tough on Wide Right Matt in the old days?
Well, it's like anybody. It's new to the. Plus, they were young. Like anybody new and young, you bring them on. You got to kind of haze them a little bit and initiate them, see if they can even take it. And if they can't, then they bail, like a lot of them. But
I think you messed around with Freshwater Rob a good bit.
A little bit, yeah.
But I think he abused Wide Right Matt.
I don't know. He was young, He thought he knew everything, so it was fun to mess with him. And
so it was basically for your enjoyment.
Right? No. It was definitely for my enjoyment.
Well, I think millions of people on YouTube enjoyed it too.
Well, you get those 10, 12, 18 beers in you gotta take it out on somebody. Right? I mean, those were back in the drinking days.
Back in the drinking days.
Yeah.
You gonna give me another beer out of there?
Sure.
I mean, I don't know why, but when I'm with you, like my ultralights go down just a little bit quicker, a little bit more easily.
Well,
So Jeff, you spring broke, a week or so ago. You went over to the West Coast.
Oh,
Any
yeah.
highlights? Any reports?
Yeah, what happened over there?
People want to know.
Is that what you got? The sheep's head over there?
Well, you guys do know that I know people.
Yep.
And the people that I know invited me to a place in North Captiva.
I would say you know a lot of people, yes.
All right. And some of the people that I know,
Got some good spots.
right, invited me to North Captiva. Now, North Captiva, we spent, 3 days there. Me, the worm, the wife,
Nice.
2 other couples. They had all boys. Worm did phenomenally well, considering she was the only girl out of 6 boys.
Wow.
But she did good. She hung right in there. And but North Captiva is kind of cool. There's no roads. Kind of similar to the outer islands and the Abacos, where you pull up, there's a dock, there's a house, beach on one side, bay on the other, and we hung out there.
That's up by like Tampa or not? Is that far up?
No, it's right in front of Pine Island, by Fort Myers,
Okay.
Port Charlotte.
What is it called again?
It's called North Captiva Island.
North Captiva. Oh,
Yeah.
check this out.
No roads go there, so you have to take a boat to get there.
Like a little ferry, or you got your own boat? Like
You calling me a ferry?
ferry, dude. That's
Dude, don't call me a ferry. This is my podcast. You're not Wide Right Matt over here. You're not abuse me.
That's true. Don't
No,
take it the wrong way.
He didn't take a ferry. The people that I knew, the people that I was connected
Had a
with,
boat.
had a 28-foot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, had a 28-foot boat, and we went over to the Pine Island boat ramp. They picked us up there.
So there's multiple houses on this Pine Island.
There's I don't know.
Captiva Island.
On North Captiva, there's a section of it that has like a half a dozen houses on it.
Okay.
And there's a wildlife preserve that takes up about 2 miles of the island, and then down on the tip of the island, there's like some restaurants and stuff, and a
Okay,
little
so
tiny
it's-
marina.
It's populated out there. It's got a couple people. It's kind of like little iguana
But there was a school of
Oh,
sheep's head there at the dock,
at the dock. Okay.
and then, there's a lot of them. And I kept going up and down the dock, and none of the kids really cared to catch a fish or whatever. And the sheep's head were like antagonizing.
Wait,
me.
6 boys were there, and not one of them wanted to catch a fish.
No, they weren't even like even into
What?
fish.
Were they? Did they get their iPads work over there or something? Because
No,
what do they do for fun? What are these kids? What are you talking about? They don't want to catch a fish.
they were playing cornhole. You know what cornhole is?
Yeah, I've seen it.
They had cornhole tournaments.
Okay.
They also dug a pretty decent hole.
Okay. At
And
least
then
they're active.
the hole
Dude,
was
when we grew up, they didn't call it cornhole. They called it kindergarten. Like you throw a beanbag into
Right.
a hole.
right cornhole.
Like that's for like 5-year-olds.
Well, they get competitive with that now. It's like horseshoes.
Now you're picking on people. First
I am.
is picking on people.
Well,
Now,
that's kind of like the beer thing.
well, you guys
So it's
grow
okay
up.
to pick on somebody about a game, but it's not okay to pick on somebody's beer.
I'm gonna Google cornhole, and we're gonna look at the people doing it.
I'll probably show you some people on North Captiva Beach doing it. But anyway, the kids were playing cornhole.
Okay.
And they dug a pretty decent hole, like a really decent hole. I was like, what, are you going to bury somebody in that or something?
Wide or deep or what?
Both. Wide, yeah, like you could put a full casket in there.
Wow.
Yeah, it was impressive.
Okay.
But none of them wanted to catch a sheep's head. So me and the guy that has the boat, people that I know,
24.
we're chilling on the dock and we're chilling by the boat, and these sheep's head are like just looking at me. They're like totally antagonizing me. So out of respect for the fishery, I had to catch one of those sheep's head
Sure.
and then let it go. So he could tell the other sheep's head that I was up there.
So they had some fishing gear there.
No,
Because you didn't bring your own, right?
No, I brought
brought one?
Well, I have my go-to travel kit.
Oh, you have a travel kit.
Yeah, which is my fly rod.
Oh,
I
okay.
got my 9-weight fly rod, and then I got the little tiny ugly stick with a like a 3,000 little spinner on there.
We used to catch those mooners, remember this? On the
Moon-
fly?
Yeah,
Those were
moonfish
fun.
on fly.
Yeah, that was fun.
That's how I used to teach people how to fly fish. Take them out, let them catch moonfish. on
Mooners,
fly.
yeah, it's like epic.
And then we eat 'em.
Mooners, and you eat them. Smallest, best fillets ever.
There was a dude at the sail club that would just crush the piss out of the mooners and
Really?
then eat them. And every time I would see his post, I would think about,
Rashad?
yeah,
Yeah, he gets
You
them.
get them?
he'll fish for mooners. He'll fill up a couple 5-gallon buckets and he'll have a fish fry.
All right, how much work is it to fillet one of those little guys?
What's up, man? It's a decent. It's actually not a lot of work.
It's not. And
It's not,
comparatively,
just
it's not like cleaning a chicken.
It's definitely not like cleaning a chicken.
If you got a good knife, you blaze right through them.
Well, and you don't have to scale the thing.
Okay.
You don't
Oh,
have
you
to
don't?
No, you just peel the skin right
Yeah,
off.
okay, okay.
But it's just you're not really getting. Put it this
So
way.
people aren't sporting mooners?
Oh,
Oh, they
people
are.
are sporting
Are
the
they
piss
sporting
out
it,
of their
yeah.
Really?
moonfish.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
They're
people,
sporting them on the nappy fishing group.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Mooners are top quality.
I mean, it's not like sporting a sheep's head.
Right.
I mean,
right.
people really sport sheep's head, and people really sport the piss out of a jack. But you can sport a mooner.
Yeah.
Marshad sports the piss out of him, but he'll post up like 20.
I think a mooner's sportier than a jack Crevel. Right?
Well, if
Come
you
on,
have,
like a jack, it's just...
if you have like 4 pound or 2 pound, no.
It's like a bonefish, though, right?
Yeah.
Sport a bonefish.
It's a moonfish is
different
like
category,
a bonefish
but-
for like a second.
Right.
Bonefish is not like a bonefish.
For the first second,
No,
it is.
it's
Well,
not.
compared to a jack, it's like a moon and a jack is kind of like a bonefish and a permit. Like different spectrums.
No.
Well, it's not
The
what it is.
bonefish and the permit are like the king of the flats. The look down is like
Sure. I've just said there were different
look down-
classes, but they're still
like
like, similar.
a
And
bonefish swims by a look down or a moonfish and looks over and is like, "Is that a freshwater fish?" And I mean, like the bonefish won't even acknowledge a
Well,
look down as being a saltwater fish.
the bonefish is the Ferrari, and the mooner is the Prius. What do they got?
No.
Electric car
The
hybrid.
moonfish has the long run. The bonefish has the long run. The moonfish has the same type of run, just for much shorter distance.
No.
Like a moon can go like for 3 or 4 feet, whereas the bonefish can go for like 50 yards.
No, the bonefish has a long run. The moonfish has a long face.
That's true.
It is true. Anything we say on this podcast is always true and proven scientific fact.
Right.
Did you guys see Horse Cranker's bush tuna?
Bush tuna?
Yeah.
What is that, like a Republican tuna?
No, that big, bush like jungle. The big hog him and his old man got.
Oh, I did see that.
They've been watching him on closed circuit television for like 2 weeks. And they'd like get up in the morning, his father would look at the footage, send it over to Todd, they live close to each other, and then they set out to get him.
They were like, "We're gonna get that son of a bitch."
There you go.
Yeah, at night there's he was getting everything on that camera. Bobcat, coyote, and the big bush tuna, the big hog. And he waited out there, and he got him like 11:30 at night on camera, but the thing ran off.
After they shot it?
Yeah, like he hit it in the head, but it didn't kill it, and the thing ran off, and they lost him. So then they found him the next day,
Still good.
And where is this?
Bradenton.
Is it at his house?
Neighborhood hunting. You don't do it? When's the last time somebody fired off a 30-06 out here?
It's been a while.
Yeah.
I mean, for hunting, it's been a while.
There's neighborhood hunting.
Well, you know, you can neighborhood hunt in Punta Gorda. They got a population of rabbit over there that's insane.
Really? So you'd be doing them a favor to take out a few. Because they're a nuisance, like the iguanas. I just can't eat one of those iguanas. I've been wanting to, but I just can't.
Salmonella.
Yeah, they're nasty. You know, like I shot a couple and I'm like,
Dude, you're not Guatemalan.
Right. Well, I mean,
I think that's like a Guatemalan cuisine or something.
Oh no, they're eating them in the Keys.
Who?
There's the dirty people.
Dirty like
Keys.
is it Hemingway style dirty?
Like dirtier than that. Dirty like they can't get back into Dayton Broward because of warrants. So they're down there in Monroe now, eating all the iguanas, posting videos on how to.
What are they doing? Like the tail, like an alligator, or are they?
And they're doing like fried like an alligator.
And
Chicken of the Keys.
Chicken of the Keys.
Come on.
Yeah. It's chicken of the Keys,
my ass.
Yeah, it is. Everybody's eating them.
Everybody.
Yeah.
You just don't know it, right? It's kind of like when you get barracuda and they tell you it's a snapper.
No, it'd be pretty simple. Next time I go down to the Keys, I'm going to look to my left, I'm going to look to my right. If there's no iguanas around, then I know people are eating them. If they're everywhere, then I'm going to call you guys out.
They're eating them. It's been on the news. It's been on Deco Drive. It's been on all the TV shows.
Deco Drive.
Next we're going to watch so-and-so. Chef Caro is going to make iguana.
Yeah.
The chefs are making the iguanas.
If I get one, can we get Chef Joe to cook one?
I thought
that would be a good episode.
I thought you couldn't do that.
I can't do it, but I can have somebody else do it. I might try it. Like if I had a real chef that can butcher it, and I don't have to look at it, I'll bring it over, and I'll take care of him. You know what I mean? But then I'll just hand him over to Chef Joe for gutting and filleting.
Marty Zoffinger's eating his long-nosed gar and doing how-to videos.
Marty is? Do you know Marty?
Oh, is that the guy with the kayaks? Right? The guy with the kayaks?
Kayaks, but he's eating his gars now.
Eating gars.
Yeah.
Dude, you can eat anything. You really can.
No, you can eat anything. I ain't eating anything.
Well, you can eat whatever you want. It tastes good, but anybody can eat anything. It's about what tastes good.
Right. No, it is psychological.
Right.
Because if you saw those big giant crabs, those Alaskan crabs,
right.
People love those things.
Yeah,
sure. But if that thing was on land, people would scream
Nobody
bloody murder.
They'd
be like a giant cockroach. So it's all mental. Like what we eat and stuff is.
Remember all those old crabs we had around Fort Lauderdale back in the day?
Land crabs.
Right. You run over them, you get a flat tire. Do
you remember? You know why we don't have land crabs there anymore?
Same reason we don't have oysters.
Well, we don't have any land left. You actually need some land for the crabs to live.
We got other things. We got foxes. I had a fox on our front porch the other week.
We have one. I've never seen him, but we have one.
Caught him on video surveillance. Eating cat food.
How big?
I would say he was body was like this big, probably around 25 pounds, 30 pounds maybe, tops. He was a gray fox.
Are those good eating too?
I don't know. If he comes around, he might find out. Or I might find out.
I'm trying to get the iguana thing through my head. Like, go down to the Keys, open up the menu, to your favorite Keys restaurant, and you're looking for a whole fried yellowtail. And instead, you get a whole fried iguana.
Iguana on a stick.
Iguana on a stick.
Well, I'm sure they got it.
Iguana.
You got to know where to look.
Iguana on
you
a bowl.
might be more like South Miami, though.
Iguana stew.
A stew. I bet they're big on stews.
Iguana chowder.
Oh, they're eating the eggs, too.
They're eating the eggs.
In the Keys.
Before they form? And as a omelet?
I thought the Keys was getting full of people that are totally loaded now, with more cash than they know what to do with, fine dining and all that.
It's when you
and
go
you're
down
telling
south,
me that they're crushing the iguanas?
North Keys is like South.
I was wrong. It's not chicken of the Keys. It's chicken of the tree.
Chicken of the tree.
That's what they call it.
All right, that makes sense.
I'm boycotting the Keys now.
Well, the Keys kind of suck now. It's not like it used to be.
Do you remember the old days when we just go down there?
Yeah.
Get on the boat.
Yeah.
Pull around.
Oh, Biscayne Bay. That was. That's Keys, right? Upper Keys.
Yeah, we do the Keys trip once a year or twice a year, but we do Biscayne Bay.
Biscayne Bay often. We had a 3-year run there where we went 7, 8 times a month. I mean, we were like, and there would be multiple days in a row.
And we'd hang out at the boat ramp right behind Doodoo Mountain.
Right. That's how I knew we were there. No, that was some good times down there in Biscayne Bay. That's my favorite kind of fishing is pulling around the flats, chasing those things.
That was my favorite era of fishing.
Really? Okay.
Well, yeah, it was like I was over like the big blue marlin, big game stuff. I was like,
Okay.
yeah, I like to do it. I like to get offshore. I was doing the snook and tarpon stuff here in Fort Lauderdale to like, do the big snooks or whatever. But when we went down to Biscayne Bay, that was for us. I mean, we did that to fish for us because we were fishing buddies and that's what we wanted to do.
Right. No, that was the best fishing and the funnest fishing I've ever done in my life. And I mean, catching big black marlin and Tropic Star didn't suck either, but
it wasn't Biscayne Bay.
But it wasn't Biscayne Bay. Biscayne Bay, you're out there by yourself. You're pulling around out there. There's no better feeling than just having 6 inches of water underneath you and just cruising along, and then you see nothing until your heart starts racing when you see that little shadow. You're like, I think that's one. And then you try to make a cast, and
Dude, that guy does not look like he's from the Keys. Lamont's showing us video of people chopping up iguanas and getting ready to put them in the fryer.
but he's got to be tropical.
And the guy's in full camo. I've never seen a
It's
guy
a hunting channel.
in the Keys.
That's where they got them. Or South Miami down there.
So they're
It's like, yeah,
are the hunters now like traveling into the Keys so they can hunt iguana?
sure, it's like a hunting trip. That's where the easy picking is. They are all over down there. I mean, last time I was down there, they were everywhere. I didn't catch any, but I wasn't eating them. But if I would have got several.
So where are all the save the animal freaks in the Keys? Like if I kill, like here in Victoria Park, if I found a iguana and I killed it, and somebody saw me kill it,
You're in trouble.
they call the cops.
Actually, it is illegal to release an iguana once you have one in custody. So if you catch one, you can't go to your neighbor's house down the street and let it go. Technically,
What do
you
you
have to dispose of it humanely and quickly.
humanely?
On the top of an iguana's head, there's a spot right where the brain is, and they call it the third eye, and that's the spot you got to puncture for immediate elimination, right? Because I've done it. I got a little pellet gun, and they don't feel nothing. They don't even flinch. I got them in the cage, and I pop them, bam, and they're gone immediately. I've had 2 in one cage. I popped one, he was gone immediately. The other one was like, what? He didn't knew nothing was going on. So I got the other guy right after. I mean, they don't even move. It's called the third eye. Look for it. Next time you got to take one out.
How much can I charge to bring a couple guys up the river to kill a few iguanas?
You should do iguana charters.
Sam.
Right?
$5.50
Yeah.
for 5 hours.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Do you know how many iguanas we can get in 5 hours? We
Right.
could be like the dude that catches freaking 800 tarpon a year.
Right.
Except we'd be doing iguanas.
Yeah.
Well, all right, what's more believable, catching 800 tarpon in a year or killing 800 iguanas in a year?
Iguanas.
Iguana, right?
Yeah, totally.
And how many clients could I get? They would get like 15 or 20
If
of
you
those a
started
night.
pushing it, you'd get several. You'd get a lot. It would grow exponentially.
Dude, and you could dress your clients up in like full camo and like tell them, I'm like, you know.
Like when you take
you
clients
sneak up on these
gigging frogs.
guys.
You know, like there's guys out there that people gigging frogs. I'm not around here, but wherever the frogs are,
So we wouldn't shoot them, we'd gig them?
you can gig them. Actually, they got little lassos, but if they're not too spooky, they get around the neck and they just like a little noose. Get them. I say you just wait for the cold fronts and then you friggin' advertise it big time on the channels. You say iguana, and we've got a cold front coming in because that's when they slow down. You're like, we catch them by hand this time of year, right? Just jump on them.
Dude, that's like.
Give them some gloves.
There's got to be a season on these son bitches.
Well, it's open season all the time. You can get them anytime.
It-
I got one in my pool the other day. He didn't live long.
Well, you shot him?
I shot him. Yeah. He was chilling next to my pool, and the dogs came out. I looked over. I said, "Holy shit, there's an iguana right there." The dogs went after me, jumped in the pool for safety. Once they're in the pool, they're easy pickings. You just get them with a pool net. Like they don't even try to get away.
Really?
Yeah. And then got my little pellet gun out and disposed of them. And I thought to myself, should I eat them? I'm like, nah, this guy's disgusting. That's why I have to have somebody else cook it. I can't cook one of those things.
Did that
It's
really
nasty.
go through your mind?
Yeah.
Should I eat 'em?
I've been wanting to eat one. So I got the cafeteria at the kid's school, and I'm like, I was talking to the head chef over there. I think the more cooks at the cafeteria, but anyways, I said, if I catch an iguana, you will cook it for me? And he said, yeah. So I actually, if I get a good one, I can bring it down to him, and he said he would do it. But if I get Chef Joe to do it, he'd probably put a few more spices in there.
Well, Chef Joe knows how to probably cook an iguana.
Right? No, he was bragging about being a world traveler.
World traveler, and then like all the.
So does that mean he can cook iguana? I mean, he lives on the canal like there. We could
Well,
probably get him right out back.
He said that like Mexican and Central American food was his favorite. So I would assume.
Iguana's got to
I
be on the
assume
menu.
that
right?
he'd do a pretty decent job with an iguana.
Okay, I mean, he's got to know how to butcher it and properly.
Did you see the stuff that he had on the menu in that last fancy restaurant that he opened up?
Yeah, no, it was.
I'm trying to remember. He had oxtail.
Did he have oxtail?
He had oxtail.
It was good, whatever it was. It was.
He had. I can't remember, but dude, he had some crazy stuff on that menu.
I forget what it was, but yeah, he had some good stuff.
Maybe ostrich or something.
Right.
I forget what the heck he had. But I was like totally. I was looking at the menu. I was like, dude, I never would.
He created that menu,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And let him go. That's what he said, right? Is that the one?
That's right.
Well, that happens, right?
You played football against Chef Joe in the old days.
Did I?
Yeah.
Was it my years?
Well,
I graduated '89.
Graduated in 9. Let's see here. Probably 1 year.
Okay.
You played with me and Joe. You were on the team with John Judge, right?
Yes. Ooh, oh, John Judge. I was a freshman when he was a senior.
All right. So
Then I was on varsity at 10th grade.
So you weren't on the team when
John was there. No, I wasn't on it. I played Little Yankee and then went straight to varsity.
Yeah. So when you were a freshman at Stranahan,
You were a senior?
well, I was same as John,
Okay, then you were a senior, yeah.
and we
And
played
then-
each other.
And
When
then
I
Joe
was-
was a year behind you?
No, Joe was my year.
Oh, he was your year. Okay.
Joe was nose guard,
Okay.
and we played Stranahan our senior year, which I thought you were on that team, but I guess you weren't.
I went straight in, but I was in 9th grade. So no, I skipped JV. Coach Barry said, "Don't play JV." He's like, "Stay Little Yankees. Better trade at JV."
Yeah,
right?
JV was pretty sorry.
Wow, man, I was sorry. So I went straight to varsity in 10th grade, and I started 2 years. Senior. So yeah, get up there in 10th grade. You're like, holy shit! But
Dude,
good old days, man. The good old days.
those were good days. Those were good
They
days.
were, you know.
The my favorite days were when we started the Boat Ramp Boys and we first started doing the YouTube stuff, and then I appreciate all that time because like we developed some seriously good relationships. Not just you and I, but you and me, the peanut farmer,
Yeah.
what do you call it, Dio?
Do you?
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was a good decade right there.
And then doing the videos with
The videos, we did all the trips to the Bahamas for your wedding. We did the Tropic Star. We did Costa Rica. We did the videos. I mean, we did the bone fishing. We did the jams. We invented the internet fishing shows. Like that was a lot went on.
there was a lot going on.
You don't realize it once you're in it, when you're living it, and you look back, you're like, wow, that was a lot. So no, that was. I mean, that started. How many views you got now? Like total, 60 million, 70 million. I mean, you got.
I think we.
Just on YouTube.
Well, I think Lamont deleted about 12 million.
Right. No, it's.
Right, and then the ones that we have left are like, I don't know, call it 500 million. No.
What?
Yeah.
500 million. Wow.
Yeah.
No, I mean.
That'd be all the channels combined,
Okay.
and all the subscribers combined is about 500,000.
Well, I mean, like I said, we started it back in the day when nobody was doing it, and
Do you know that if we started that today,
we couldn't do it.
the people wouldn't have saw it?
Nope.
People
They'd
wouldn't
shut
have
you
saw it.
down unless
No.
you're paying. You're out there paying.
No, you know that. No, the way it works now is if you do sharks, manatees,
Manatees.
rays, turtles, whales.
So sport fish is out of the equation.
Well, the
Or-
sport fish, there's just not enough people
Want to see
to
it.
trigger the algorithms to
you
get
on
the
there.
views.
Tarpon only gets so many people so fired up.
Right. Like, they could care less about that. What they care about is total amount of views.
Right.
Like, for instance, if we would have did, I don't know, just 10 shark videos over the course of the time that we were doing YouTube,
Okay.
total number of views would have been 10 times
Really?
what we have now.
Because you're in the loop for the shark people.
Well, I'll give you a perfect...
People want to see the sharks.
I'll give you a perfect example.
Okay.
The Rant Monsters channel that we created.
Oh, yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
You take some dork...
Right? Totally.
And you bring him down to the boat ramp.
Right.
And
The circus animal.
Right. And he catches a 300-pound fish
Right.
from the boat ramp.
Right.
And I think we did 4 videos like that, a ray and a shark. 30 million views.
Wow. Yeah, no, that's
And do you know how many trips we booked because of that 30 million views?
0.
Hardly any.
Right.
Like, you didn't see a difference. Do you know how many hats and shirts we sold with that additional 30 million views?
0.
You couldn't tell a difference.
Right.
So there's just like a bit abyss views. And Google, YouTube is charging people per 1,000. Yeah. Per 1,000 views is how they charge people. So,
Really?
yeah, so not only are they ripping people off, but they're also pushing the videos so they can rip people off.
Dude, it's way too big now. Like, when we got in there, it was in its infancy and it was growing, and we were part of the growth. And now it's just so huge and such a conglomerate. Like, big money in there, politics, everything in that thing. So,
I was doing a podcast with Tom Rowland, I don't know, a couple months ago during the Miami Boat Show.
okay.
And I think I explained it to him best. We were in a position where we were able to take advantage of YouTube.
Yes.
Now everybody is in the position where YouTube takes advantage of you.
Right. Oh, for sure.
And I think that's the big difference. And there's a huge difference in the viewers that we have now and that we had then. Because the viewers that found us and the viewers that were attracted to that kind of content had to search us out, find us, and then like us. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then they would say, like, oh, I got a friend that would like this, and he would show it to that person, he would show it to that person, he'd show it to that person.
No, it grew organically, like,
Do you know if you type in
consistency?
The Mullet Run
Right.
in YouTube, do you know who you get now?
Who?
Black Tip H.
What?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's nothing wrong with Black Tip H, don't get me wrong. Josh does a phenomenal job on the videos and stuff. But we started
Right.
doing Mullet Run footage before Black Tip H even, thought about doing video. And the name of our channel is called The Mullet Run.
Right. Get trumped by a shark catcher? Like, what, he catches over there?
Well, you don't get trumped by a shark catcher, but you get trumped by a dude that does shark videos that gets those millions of views.
Right. So,
Because they can charge per 1,000 on that.
right.
And I get it. I mean, they got to make money or whatever.
Sharks are universally feared and loved. And if you did shark charters, you'd probably be just as busy as you are with tarpon charters. Like, you could do as many.
You could do more.
Probably.
You could do a whole business. I could hire fucking 10 dudes
To do
take
shark-
people out
Right,
shark
right.
fishing.
Sharks are fascinating.
Right.
Right.
And then people would be lined up to do shark charters.
Totally.
But I would die of frigging...
You lose your hand.
Well, I would just it's like... I have to be into what I'm doing.
Right. No,
I can't.
That's like running a headboat. Like, hey, come on out, we'll do some fishing. Everybody grab their rod. The beers are over there in the corner.
I could do a great shark captain. Come on, folks, we'll go sharking. You guys see Jaws? That thing was a fucking guppy. Yeah, dude, I could be the best shark dude ever.
Yeah, no.
If I would stoop that low.
Right.
Which I won't, because I fish like a gentleman, guide like a gentleman, and do my business like a gentleman.
Totally.
What? Oh, you're getting cocky, right? Well, what did you expect when the Big Bursa Man was over here?
Yeah, I don't know how those other guys roll in these podcasts, but I like to have a good time over here. We have a good conversation today. This is it's good topics.
Well, I think it's to me anyway.
Right.
Just like the YouTube videos.
Uh-huh.
Like I don't want to get on this podcast and act like I'm going to teach you how to catch 1 million fish, or I'm going to show you how to be a fishing expert or anything like that. If I can make somebody laugh, or if I can make somebody giggle and think about something or whatever, I think that's important, because I don't think people laugh enough. And I think there's way too many experts at everything. And if you guys ever tried to fish like I fish, you would fail miserably, and I'm not going to lie to you about it.
No, it's got to be brutal. You obviously have your system down that works well for you, but for anybody else to start guiding, it'd be such a huge task to catch fish every day for people. How hard is that? Come on, get on the boat. We're gonna go get some lunkers.
Well, to become
it's very serious accomplishment you got there.
Well, I mean, it's not an easy thing to do.
Right.
People think it's that's the dream.
You just go fishing.
Right, that's the dream job to have. All he has to do is worry about going fishing every day.
Right. You could be Mackenzie with their $100 snook charters, right? Right?
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Do you remember when Mackenzie and the Mad Snooker were go head to head online about giant snooks?
Did they?
Oh, dude, they were like I say, people
with the Mad Snooker?
Right, like I say, people take shit way too serious, and I'm trying to make the podcast that way, where we don't take things too serious.
Sure.
But something happened to me this week with the FWC.
What happened?
They started abusing me.
More than normal?
No, no,
usually
just like normal. Like normal.
All right.
And I thought seriously about doing the podcast tonight on how bad I got abused by the FWC this week.
Really?
But I'm pretty hot under the collar about it.
Okay.
I'm a little emotional about it. So I'm going to let things settle.
Okay.
I'm going to analyze it.
And then get back.
And then I'm going to get somebody else's in here that's a fishing guide.
Right. No, that's a good idea. Let's get a couple perspectives.
Right. So I'm not, I'm not, I don't want to sound like, oh, woe is me, these guys are picking on me, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Because I get it. The FWC's in a position that's hard to win. But that's not my problem.
But what does Drew have to say about this? He's in there. He's one of them.
I talked to Drew about it a lot.
Right.
And I feel bad because there's nothing that an individual FWC officer can do about it.
Well, he's part of the system. It's a government system. So, right. So
you're in a system that will not let you win.
Right. No, that's what the government does. Nothing ever runs well with the government anywhere. So it goes hand in hand that the FWC would be.
But it's not just government. I mean, you were into football. I was into football. People are into sports. People are into business. People.
Yeah.
You have to work well with others.
Sure.
You cannot burn your bridges over and over and over again. Yeah, I mean, and it's simple, basic fundamentals that the FWC is never going to be able to accomplish.
I mean, they should have a common courtesy and a partnership with you as a guide that's out there on a daily basis instead of being an adversary.
In my opinion, it's a philosophical restructuring is what the FWC needs. Or they could make it simple. They could just take FWC off of all their stuff. Like, the truck pulls up, it says FWC, Florida Wildlife and Conservation.
Right.
And then underneath that, it says law enforcement. Well, instead of scamming us and acting like you're doing it under the name of wildlife and conservation, just get rid of that and just put law enforcement, because that's what they do.
But they're more, they like to hassle people and look for crimes, like poke around, not looking for, don't you need like probable cause,
well, that's the thing. That's
hey, this guy is friggin'.
That's the craziest thing about it. All right, think about it like this. You're a carpenter.
Sure.
So you're in your wood shop, and you're building your stuff, and somebody pulls up with a spotlight and walks into your place of business, and starts picking apart every tool, every receptacle.
They do that.
Everything that you have.
I mean, they got every friggin' buddy out there gets hassled by the government.
Every big business.
Right. Well, big business. Well.
Right.
Even the small ones, they come in. Fire inspector come right in there, shut you down.
Well, that's what the FWC does. That is not wildlife and conservation.
No.
Right?
It's
are you Florida Wildlife and Conservation, or are you the dude that enforces the laws?
Right. Well,
Like, where are you in the mix? Well, let me tell you where they are in the mix. They enforce the laws. They got nothing to do with
wildlife
and conservation. Or the vast majority of what they do, 90% of what they do. Where, in my opinion, 90% of what they should do should have to deal with either the water quality,
sure,
or fish limits, or hunting, or whatever it is. But it has nothing to do with that. It's about registrations and life jackets, and
And they hassle
it's
you all
crap.
the time as a guy that's out there on a daily basis. They're messing with you.
In the last 5 years, I've been checked by the FWC over 100 times. 100 times, dude.
You need like a fast pass registration where they
Do
can
not
say,
try to-
"Hey,
No.
this guy here is pre-checked, and all he's got to do is show his card because he's out there all the time. All right, leave me alone." Basically,
Well, yeah.
right,
Yeah.
Right,
But
you
that would
mean-
make sense.
right. Well,
And I've never seen the FWC do anything that makes sense, so why would they start now?
again, it's a government agency, so that they don't make sense in
They
general.
make it a point
Right.
to fail.
They're a pain in the ass. I mean, that's what. Anytime you got to deal with a city at any level, the county, the state government, whatever, you're on. It's up to them on your experience, and usually they're having a bad day because they work for the city, and they're going to take it out on you just because they can. It's a power thing. I don't know.
Dude, I actually feel bad for the officers. Because I know that a lot of the officers get into the FWC because they care about the wildlife. They care about conservation. They care about the environment. So they join.
Right.
They do whatever it takes in order, because it's kind of it's a pain in the ass to become one. Like, you got to do a bunch of stuff and
Sure.
whatever. Yeah, you got
And you
it
gotta-
takes some time and energy to do it.
You
They
gotta
do
put it-
all this stuff, and then they're like, okay, go check the guy's registrations over here and his safety gear. So the guy checks registrations and safety gears for the rest of his career because he made a mistake
Right.
thinking that he was going to go into an organization that was mainly to deal with the wildlife and conservation out there, which they do not.
Well, they should have seen that coming. I mean, I guess everybody when they're young, they're dreamers, but they get in the system. It's a system like anything. Any system sucks.
I want to do a whole podcast on it. I'm gonna get Benny Blanco down here. Do you know who Benny is?
No, I don't know, Benny.
Benny's a guide down in the National Everglades Park, and he's been a guide for a long time. But he's
Okay.
also the spokesman
For what?
for Captains for Clean Water.
Okay.
And they are the only organization that I've seen put any type of real effort into restoring the Everglades and the water messes that we have here in South Florida. And guess what they are not?
Law enforcement?
They are not government. They are a bunch of fishing guides that actually give a shit about what's going on.
What?
Pleading with the government to do things to help water quality.
Properly.
Right.
Anyway.
They're a bunch of fishing dudes. They're a bunch of captains. They do what I do. They take people fishing every day. And then we got this new governor in DeSantis.
Yeah.
And he's supposedly freaking really, like into saving the Everglades and making sure the water quality is like really great. Yeah, I want to see that happen, DeSantis. Hey, DeSantis, if there's something that you could do like tomorrow that wouldn't cost anything, you didn't have to go to court for, you wouldn't have to make any laws, that would be to change the philosophy of the FWC. You can do that tomorrow by yourself, and it would be like a major accomplishment. Do you think the guy's going to do that? Do you think the guy would even think that far? God damn it, I'm getting pissed off, and I did not want to do that on this podcast.
I mean, maybe we get DeSantis in here. Make some calls. I know people up there in Tallahassee. We can get him down here. If he truly wants to be a governor for the people and he wants to take on these issues, we could get him in here for a podcast.
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't do that? You would not take that guy in here to question him.
Oh, I would do a podcast with DeSantis in a second.
Take him out on a
But I don't think for a second he would do one.
Well, I mean...
He's supposedly this new stand-up governor. He's supposed to be the answer,
Let's
blah,
give
blah,
him
blah.
an opportunity.
I'll invite him.
Governor DeSantis,
I'll invite DeSantis to do the podcast with me and Benny.
Yes. Great idea. That'd be a real podcast.
I'll
with
bet
somebody that
I'll
could,
bet you $100 it doesn't happen. Not me inviting him coming down and doing it.
Okay. I don't know if I want to bet that. But
yeah, because you have
but-
like a little bit of intelligence.
right. I mean,
Like you've been around for a while. You
I've
know
been
that the
around, I've
government
seen how it
probably
works.
isn't going to do anything.
Sure.
Right.
But it doesn't hurt to throw the invite out. Maybe he takes you up on it. I once had the mayor come to one of my meetings for a little neighborhood I had.
Which mayor?
Noggle. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was good.
I went right into Noggle's office with some griefs, and he came over to my civic association thing that night. I was like, hey, here he is, old Noggle. Yeah.
What did he want?
What did he want anything? He just wanted to hear it. I don't know if he did anything. And he made some calls to the city, had some garbage picked up and stuff. Yeah, no, he showed up, which was pretty good. And I got full credit for getting him to show up.
All right, I'll give Noggle credit for showing up.
Right.
And if DeSantis shows up for the podcast, I'll give him credit for that.
Okay, let's extend the invitation and see if we can make it happen. I'll help you clean up around here a little bit. Make it a little respectable.
We got to clean up just because the governor's coming over?
Yeah, you gotta put your best foot forward.
Well, then we'll do it over at like Tarpon River Brewery or something.
There you go. That's probably a better idea.
Maybe we get the governor liquored up.
Right. On some of those 8%ers.
Give him a couple of those. Hey, Julian.
Rub that dog on the governor.
Yeah,
over
I'll
there.
take the light beer that's only got 4%, but bring that 12% in for DeSantis. He's going to need it.
He's gonna need it. No, I mean, we'd have a serious conversation with him, and we'd take it seriously, and we'd have some fun with him. So maybe let's see what happens.
I mean, I like to goof around. I like
Right.
to have a good time and stuff. But this I'm not taking lightly. I'm serious. I'm so fucking pissed about the FWC. The way shit goes down. How guys like myself get harassed on it. Dude, I got checked 100 times in the last 5 years. And, that sounds like, it wasn't that consistent. I got checked 67 times between 2013 and 2014. In a 12-month period.
Well,
Sometimes 3 and 4 times in a night. With
What?
clients on the boat.
oh, jeez.
I got checked by the FWC, the Coast Guard, and Homeland Security in the same port in the same night.
I don't know. Those guys got a lot of free time on their hands or something. I mean, I don't know why they harass people like that. Especially someone like yourself that's out there all the time fishing.
It's philosophical. And that's my point exactly, is we could change a lot by simply changing the philosophy of the Florida Wildlife and
Rules of
Conservation.
engagement.
What their mission is, what their
Right.
goals are.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Dude, you went downtown and got beach fishing allowed on Fort Lauderdale Beach. So that was a major accomplishment for you. I think this too could be, if you stay on it and we start putting pressure on them, get them down here for a podcast at the Tarpon River Brewery. I think we got a 35% chance of getting them there.
I've never had an FWC officer.
We'll get Drew there with us because he's official FWC. He can bring one of his buddies. We get their perspective. Let's get a whole roundtable.
I'll bring FWC agents in if they'd like to come, but I'm not putting Drew on the spot.
Really?
He's like my buddy.
Sure. But he's.
And he would do probably just about anything for me because he's my buddy. And because
you
of
think
that,
they would frown on him for doing that in the agency?
who knows what they might do? It's
Right.
government.
Right now.
They frown on
Hey,
us.
Drew, guess what? You're out.
Right.
Yeah, it'll happen.
I have not killed a fish, or I should say a fish, but I haven't killed a snook or anything like that inshore in years.
Okay.
Do you think maybe once that an FWC officer besides Drew actually even knew that?
No.
Or even cared?
You're just a number.
They don't care.
They pull up, they see your VIN number over on the side of your boat, and then, that's all they care about.
They care about your registration. And
Running the numbers,
you know,
and then, this jerk off over here.
Right.
Right.
It's philosophical. That's my point.
He's in the private sector. I think they pick on you. But they got power. Anybody in the city and the government, they'll pick on you because they can. Because you're at the mercy of them. You just gotta have to bear through and make their day go as well as possible in order for you to have a decent day back.
I've never had an FWC officer call me to ask me my opinion on anything.
Well,
I think
that would
that's
be-
weird.
That's.
I think
anybody.
if you're an inshore fishing guide
Dude, they
in the
should-
most metropolitan area in the state,
How can we better our productivity over here?
how can I not help you?
Right.
How could you not?
They're not interested. They're not interested.
All right, let me ask you another question.
What's that?
If you were out in your boat
Yep.
and you saw an FWC officer broke down, would you help him?
Would I help him? If he's in a dangerous situation.
No, if he just was broke down, drifting
And
along.
he waved me over?
Not even. I mean, all right, yeah.
He's got to wave to me. I don't know if he's broke, if he's just drifting. If he's flagging me down, yes, I'm going to go over and I'm going to try
And you're
to
going to help him?
Yes.
Okay. Now you're broke down. Same situation. FWC officer goes by.
He's
Is
not
he going to help you?
It's probably one time he won't come over to you.
Serious question. Is he going to help you?
I mean, no, he's going to tell you to call
No,
somebody.
he's going to tell you to call CTO.
Right, he's going to tell you to call CTO. Sure. No, well, yeah, no, that's a good point.
It's a great point.
It's a great point.
And it's philosophical. It's the way you treat people. It's what is expected of people. And the FWC, whether they like it or not, sets the tone for everybody else. If the FWC
Sure.
isn't willing to come over and help you,
Whoever's running the show sets the standards, for
Right.
sure, in anything situation, especially at a government situation where the government shows you how you're supposed to act in the fishing area.
and I'm not saying there isn't an FWC officer in the state that wouldn't help
there's
out
good guys
a
out
dude.
there, I'm sure.
Right.
Right.
But I would tell
But as
you,
a
I would
system-
tell you in Miami and Fort Lauderdale that there's people that are broke down that the FWC is looking at and is like, I am not even looking that way.
Right. Yeah, I'll pretend I didn't see you.
Right. Oh, you don't have CTO? Then you're a jerk. You know, you or whatever. Anyway.
No, it's no. You should get a couple guys in here. Let's see if we can figure out DeSantis. At least throw the invite out there a few times.
Oh, we're gonna invite him.
Right.
He's got email, right?
I think so. Yeah.
So I'll send him an email. That's how I invite everybody on the podcast.
Email. We'll call
Well,
the
I
office.
texted you.
Right.
Right. I'll text him if I got his
If
number.
you got his number, text is even better.
Or maybe DeSantis. Maybe he's really concerned about what he can do. Maybe he'll call me out of the blue.
Well, probably
He'll
not.
be like, oh, you know, that guy's a really good fishing guy down there in Fort Lauderdale. He's been doing it a long time. He's seen a lot of stuff. And maybe I'll call that guy up and ask for his input.
No.
That's not happening.
No. You're gonna have to bring it to his attention because he's too worried about other things. I don't know. He doesn't know. He probably doesn't know. He's just.
Well, he's
doing his
probably
job.
worried about creating jobs.
Well, sure. Everybody is.
Yeah, I remember the governor that created the FWC.
Oh.
A lot of good that did us.
Who was that?
I don't know, some
Martin
asshole.
Childs, probably.
But friggin' he created the FWC. Then they go around bragging, oh, I created
Right.
20,000 jobs. Well, you created 20,000 jobs of people checking my friggin' PFD.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, no, I can see that.
Do you want to know what good happened from getting
what?
totally abused by FWC last?
Something good came out?
Well, yeah, I found out that my flares were going to be out of date next month.
No, you know.
Do you know how dangerous it is to go out there on your boat when your flares are like a week or two past expiration date?
They're expired. They're expired. It's questionable if they'll even work.
Dude, this is the longest podcast we ever did on the Real Guy Podcast.
Really? What
And
are
we
we?
can keep going.
How long is it?
It's an hour and 15 minutes.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. No, we've been rambling on pretty.
We
good.
probably should just keep rambling on, just piss people off. Like, dude, are they ever gonna end? Anyway, Bursa, thanks for coming in tonight. Thanks for being part of the Real Guy Podcast. I hope this isn't the last episode that you want to come in for.
No, I'll come back and talk about some other issues. I mean, I like to talk. I got an opinion about a lot of stuff, and I mean, people want to hear it, and I would love to share it. And thanks for inviting me out, and it's been fun as always. And I look forward to it next time.
Run that dog, Bursa. Thanks for coming in. And you guys just got another Real Guy Podcast on the Lunker Dog Real Guy Show. Run that dog.
Run it.